The Charlotte Hornets, in my opinion, were actually winners in this offseason. Specifically, them drafting LaMelo Ball with the third pick in the NBA draft. And although they gave a questionable contract to Gordon Hayward, he is still a really good player, while they still have cap in the 2021 offseason. With only the third pick, the Hornets got potentially the best player, and the player with no doubt the highest ceiling in the whole entire draft. Despite the fact that they already have two other point guards, they couldn't pass up on him. His court vision and IQ is elite, and I think he's gonna really determine how good the Charlotte Hornets is. And today, we're going to be examining how good can LaMelo Ball be actually, and the expectations for the Charlotte Hornets in general. Now, before I get started, it would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to the channel. Here on the Mix channel, we're going to be making consistent basketball content, and if you enjoy that, which every NBA fan should, then subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a like because it only takes 1 second and makes a really big difference. Also, hit the bell so you never miss an upload. I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. Okay, hopefully you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. And I think the Hornets are in a very interesting spot. Now, first examining LaMelo Ball, like I said, the third pick in the 2020 NBA draft. His court vision and IQ is elite, similar to his brother Lonzo Ball. He's also a 6'8" point guard, using that height as an advantage on the court. And I don't think people are talking this a lot, but he can be very versatile in what position he also plays. He's tall enough to play the shooting guard and small forward, and even though you probably don't want him playing that and you want him playing the point guard, he can definitely play that as like a backup. And it's going to be very interesting how good LaMelo Ball is. He of course didn't shoot very well in Australia, his percentage is being really bad, but he was still only 18 in a grown men league, but proved that he has a lot of potential, still putting up about like 17 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. And I personally think that LaMelo Ball's ceiling is a prime Penny Hardaway. This is no doubt a superstar and a really good NBA player. Both of them possess being tall and explosive, while also being able to pass and drive to the basket. They both aren't the best shooters, but I think that's fine because LaMelo can still knock it down, though his form is questionable. In my opinion, LaMelo is my favorite for the Rookie of the Year, for he can take the most shots on the Hornets, and he can just have the ball in LaMelo Ball's hands. But I still think the Hornets will most likely be a lottery team in this stacked Eastern Conference now, or the end of the conference being stacked with people like the Hornets, the Wizards, the Bulls, the Wizards, and the Hawks. And it's going to be really interesting, but I really think that they won't make the playoffs. And then they signed Gordon Hayward to a 4-year, $120 million deal. Now, this is no doubt an overpay, but Charlotte must overpay for those players because they are a really small market. Teams like Indiana were actually willing to give Hayward a 4-year, $110 million, so this actually isn't too much of an overpay. This is about $3 million more a year, and Hayward is still a really versatile player, being able to shoot a little bit, defend a little bit, play make a little bit, and he's just that small forward that every team wants. And I would have rather preferred a 2 to 3 year deal because he does have injury issues, but I guess they wanted to give him a 4-year deal. I don't really think Michael Jordan is the best GM, but he's Michael Jordan, and he hasn't really done much to help the Hornets team. Now, this is going to be, in my opinion, the lineup for the Charlotte Hornets, and that is LaMelo Ball, Devontae Graham, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and Cody Zeller, with a bench of Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, Malik Monk, and Bismack Biyombo. Now, this is a roster that is still very young and that can develop together. And I think that they still are missing a lot because they are a young team and they're still the Hornets, but it's need a lot of work. And I think that their roster really misses a reliable center and that first option. Now, they do have cap space in the 2021 offseason to replace Cody Zeller with Andre Drummond or Rudy Gobert, and I think those two would be a really good fit. They can defend, they can rebound, they can catch some lobs, they can dunk, and I really think that's really what the Hornets need. And then for the first option, I think, of course, LaMelo can probably average 25 points and 10 assists, but I still think they want that really big superstar, because besides LaMelo, there is no superstar, and Devontae Graham is probably going to be a really good scorer, but I don't think he's going to cut it. And I really think the Hornets shouldn't try to make the playoffs, because the 2021 NBA draft is really special with a lot of young talent. And I think that a Jalen Green or Brandon Boston Jr. can be so elite fits, because they can score the ball at an elite level, and I think that's really what they need. They need that first option, and because the NBA is a star-driven league, I think having a Jalen Green or Brandon Boston Jr., who I think will develop to amazing scorers, can really help. LaMelo will still playmake and be potentially the first or the second or even the first option still. I just think that if you need a bucket, that guy's gonna give you. I think that can be Jalen Green or Brandon Boston Jr. in this draft. They, of course, have their draft pick, so they can definitely draft someone. And if they get some lottery luck like they did this year, I can no doubt see them getting like the first pick and just building that young core that every NBA team wants. And if you have a young core of Devontae Graham, LaMelo Ball, Jalen Green / Brandon Boston Jr., PJ Washington, Mo Bamba, that's a pretty young core still. And if they play together and get some chemistry, that can really develop. And the Hornets, I personally think, are in actually a pretty good situation. I really hope LaMelo Ball doesn't turn into a Kemba Walker situation where they have a star, but there's nothing around them. But the team they already have, PJ Washington, Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges, those are already better than what Kemba has. So I think they're really building something up in Charlotte. And then, like I said, that they're going to have their draft pick, which I think is going to be really good. But still, the future of the Hornets is still very uncertain. Will LaMelo Ball develop into that, like I said, his ceiling, a prime Penny Hardaway? Or will he turn into like his brother Lonzo, but not having that elite defense that Lonzo has, being able to facilitate, but still not being a really good shooter? But I personally think that LaMelo is going to be really good. I think that Lonzo was in a bad situation in LA, and I think that the Hornets are a pretty good fit for LaMelo Ball, and I think he will flourish. But still, the future of the Hornets is uncertain, but if they get that draft pick, and like I said multiple times, Jalen Green and Brandon Boston Jr., who can score, while of course having LaMelo that will probably put up like 25 and 10 as a superstar that will still facilitate, while also having good players in Devontae Graham, still Gordon Hayward as that vet, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, and potentially that center. I can see the Hornets being really good in the near future. So yeah, that's going to be a video about the Charlotte Hornets and how I think LaMelo Ball will be. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the bell. Thank you all so much for watching. Look out for future content, and I'll see you all next time.